Now, unpopular opinion, I know, but there is a strong possibility that you're over fertilizing your garden. But hey, guess what? That's all right, because I have too. You know, in all earnest, we've been given such bad information about the usage of fertilizers for so long that, a lot of these garden hacks are constantly iterating. You need more fertilizer, more fertilizer, more fertilizer. That's not the case. So we've already talked about the fact that macro and micronutrients are something that we definitely need for the essential growth for our plants, right? We broke down what NPK stands for in previous videos. But something I want you to understand is that while these nutrients are essential for the growth and overall development of your plant, a lot of times those variables, those nutrients are already present. I mean, especially if we're talking about container growing or raised bed growing, right? Because you're coming in with those bagged soils, and guess what? A lot of times those bagged soils will already have those macro and micronutrients present in its formulation. Not to mention if you're using things like compost or you're using cured manures, those nutrients are already there. So why are we adding more to the equation? What you need is accessibility. And essentially that accessibility is going to come from soil pH. Now we've talked about pH before, right? And we know that pH is essentially just the soil acidity or alkalinity. And that's going to really determine your accessibility to said nutrient. Side note, pH actually stands for potential hydrogen. It's actually talking about the amount of hydrogen atoms that are available in your soil. That's what's going to determine that alkalinity or that acidity level. pH is going to be one of those master variables that's going to really determine your plant's access to those available nutrients. Because a soil that's either too acidic or too alkaline can end up causing what we would consider a chemical lockout when the available nutrients are not accessible for the plant. So that's why your pH factor is going to be a huge key when we're talking about overall soil structure. And plus, now there's a lot more variables that we could definitely consider when we're talking about our soil. I mean, we could talk about soil structure, friability, aeration, compaction, and just there's a lot out there. But unfortunately, there's only so much that I have availability to talk with you on these shorter videos. So I tell you this, the best recommendation that I can possibly give you is test your soil first before we start going throw a fertilizer into the equation, because you actually may be doing more harm to your plants and your overall ecosystem by just dumping copious amounts of fertilizers into the equation. Test your soil. Know what your baseline is, know what your starting point is. And that can be simply done by going visit your local agriculture extension where they can totally help you out with this. And of course, as always, if you have questions, I always got your back.